Like if you get a book that people will want to read for longer than the amount of energy that you've got to launch it, then that's a bit of a win. Okay, this is what we're doing. So you've been
Yeah.
to Europe. That's cool.
Yes, and I saw your trip to to Paris too.
Yeah,
So
just
like we've all been to the mainland.
we've, we've all done that. And then since we last chatted on here, I have been to New Orleans and met you in New Orleans, and that was amazing. What a week. Like, I think that is like the highlight of my year in so many ways. Both traveling to New Orleans, like going to America again after a really long time, like meeting you and seeing that whole thing. So we've like stayed in touch a lot, haven't we, since the book came out? Like there's been like
Yeah,
the odd bit here and like, what about this and what about that? Like, we've been in touch.
we certainly have. We haven't done anything like together since then, except you
Mm,
came to the conference and you had like a talk at the conference. But
yeah.
it's been quite my feeling about this year is that the swings are way bigger than they've ever been before. Like the
Mm,
good is like, wow, we hosted a conference, and the bad is like, oh, like our whole company blew up. And it's like the ups, like it's the same amount of ups and downs, but the ups are higher and the downs are higher. I don't know if that is how you feel about this year, but it's been a while.
yeah. I feel that massively. And I feel like when you're in it, it's like all consuming. When you're in that downswing, like for me, getting my head around UK VAT and the shift in company status nearly broke me. I was like, I just need to put it all back. Like I cannot. And now, like, we're 6 months down the line and it feels different and stuff, but I'm like even more passionate about supporting the business owners that want to get there to that next income level, including Substack, because it's way complicated, right? Like, and I think for me, it was like, oh, when I get there, like, that'll be so exciting. I'll be sitting on the top of the mountain. Everything will just be like running like clockwork beneath. And it was like, oh no, like I'm more in the coal face than I've ever been. I'm learning faster than I've ever had to learn. And I'm really, really exhausted because it's all of that new executive function around like how things work. And then also how things work within the company, right? Because before it was just me, right? So when you're a sole trader, you have your accounts and then you're like, okay, I've got my accounts and my spreadsheet. And like I had moved to Zero, but you're very close to the numbers. And so you're like, okay, like this is what's coming in, this is what's going out, like everything's flowing through in one account. And then when you separate it, suddenly you get a team of people that are dealing with that stuff for you that are charging like per transaction. And I was like, wait a minute, like these transactions are small. Like if you're charging per transaction and I also pay Substack fees and then I also like have these other, I'm like, I don't know if I've got a viable business anymore. Like this is what, so you're having all of these visceral reactions to like, is this just what everybody does? Like, how do businesses actually exist? Like, is this what I'm meant to be doing and feeling? So for me, that's been so hard. But now that I'm through the other side and I've got a really supportive team in place, I am feeling a lot better about it. But I was like, oh no, what have I done? Like, this is too much, too many things, too many transactions, too many subscriptions, too much to think about. Like, I was really doubting myself for a while back there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that so there's a couple things, right? Like I remember my first six-figure year, and
Mm,
it was about 10 years ago now. So it's been a while, and I've done six figures. Like last year, my businesses did like 400K. But
mm,
in general, like Wannabe Press has made the same roughly 110 to $135,000 every year. Like
mm,
it's like I can try to do more things. I can try to
mm,
do less things. It's only when I started tacking on other businesses like Writer MBA, like all of that stuff, that my income started to go up.
yeah.
But my feeling is that when you first break through, you're like, oh, great. I just have to do this like 10 times better and I make 10 times more money. But what ends up happening is you make the same money and you're like, wait, but I put forth more effort. Why am I making the same money? This makes no, like I'm paying more people to do more things. Like, why am I making
Mm,
roughly the same money?
yeah.
And what I have found, like for publishing, I had two books at one point and I was making like $125,000 a year. And like, I was like, cool, if I have 10 books, I will make $500,000 or $600,000 a year. And then I had 10 books. And what happened was I was making the same amount. I just was as more dispersed across more projects, which made it
Mm,
more stable. So what I think happens when you get to six figures a lot for creators, and there are some creators who make it to seven figures, and then I'm like baffled at that thing. But like I think most people as creators can do a six-figure year. It
mhm,
takes like doing whatever weird thing that you do. Like you probably have to be doing very specific things to hit seven figures.
mm,
Like having a $5,000 package. Like if you have a
mm,
$5,000 coaching package, you only need what 100 people to make a $500,000 a year. Like if you sell like heavy industrial equipment for like $1 million, you sell one of them a year, you've made $1 million. But like for most people doing this, I think probably like a low six-figure year is something that every is very attainable. I know
mm,
everyone listening to this is probably like, it seems wild, but it takes it takes your membership to make like 10 grand. It takes like your signature program to make 30 grand. Like it takes a retreat to make 20 grand. Like a a $100,000 year is built on 10 or 12 10K months, right? And like we
mm.
did a book, I did a book earlier this year called
Yeah,
10K
I love it.
Secrets.
I've been reading it. Yeah, it's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's like there if you just did each one of those one time, you would have a six-figure year. And like
Yeah.
so it's easy. It's not easy to conceptualize how one human could do $100,000 launch, but it is conceptually possible to understand how to do a $10,000 launch and to just keep doing them throughout the year over and over
Yeah.
and over again, or turn a $10,000 launch into a $20,000 launch. And then a
Mm,
$20,000 launch to a fit. Like those are a lot easier to conceive than like going from like you need a really like a team and a big ad spend to do $100,000 launch. Like it just like you
mm,
probably are not. And doing 10 of those seems like wildly so I say all of that to say like I think one of the mindset shifts, and I'd love to get your opinion on this, that like happens in year two or year three or year four, you realize, oh, I'm probably not going to 10x my business doing 10x more work, but I can make it 10x more stable, which
mm,
means that like, okay, that first year, if Substack just shut off, you'd be like, oh my God, I just like lost all of my money. Like I just like
mm,
all of it's gone. But like by the time you're doing it year two or year three or year five, or at some point, you're like, oh, well, like that's fine because this is going to hurt. Like Substack going away will hurt. But I have so many other things going on that like nothing can land a knockout blow. Does that make
mm.
sense?
Yeah, for sure. And like I feel like that about the book, right? Because I just got another email. I'm just showing our beautiful book. I'm so proud of this book. It's been out for a year and I still agree with everything that we wrote. So go ahead and buy the book. Get it anywhere you get your books. Um I got like an email that was like, okay, like here's $57 for your book. And I was just like,
Right.
that is so wild. Like, because for me, so I mention it now and again, definitely. Like I'll definitely like have it on my content calendar to mention it a couple of times a month consciously. I'll mention it on Instagram stories. I'll mention it on notes, but it's in the footer of my Sparkle and Substack emails. So everybody that receives an email will see it. And obviously for the people that have already got it, they're like, yeah, I know, that's great. But for the new people coming in, they're going to get that message. And then it's in like a few other places as well. And so for me, that is like such a light lift to have that pretty much passive income. And it's been really interesting because I had no expectation around what would happen, right? Because I wasn't really sure. Like I hadn't had that before. I hadn't had that opportunity before. So obviously I'm super grateful for you for asking and like, guiding me through all of that stuff. But I'm so passionate about that now. I'm like, oh, okay. Like if you get a book that people will want to read for longer than the amount of energy that you've got to launch it, then that's a bit of a win. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And on top of that, you're like, okay, if you want to join my more like you probably aren't going to give me. So I just launched a new program called Capitalist. If you're listening to this and you're one of my like things, like I love Capitalist. It's all about how to invest in your happiness as much as you invest in your money. and to make like a life that works for you. Which you can see at theauthorstack.com. But like probably no one's going to join that unless they've read one of my books. Like you
Okay.
probably have to read like one of them or at least a lot of. So like I have a book that I just launched that's actually launching on retailers next month called How to Thrive as a Writer in a Capitalist Dystopia.
Oh yeah,
So
the
like
pink one. Mm.
yeah, exactly. So like probably if you were going to join Capitalist, you probably have read that book. And also, I probably want you to read that book and probably do the workbook before you
Mm.
even think about joining Capitalist, because that is how you can indoctrinate someone. And the same thing
Mm.
with the book. It's like the longer you do this work, the more work you have, right? And the more you're
Mm.
like, someone comes and the more overwhelmed someone is by what you've done. And the
Yeah.
more you're
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh, yeah, the more you're like, okay, here is a book, like just like read this, and then you should do that before you like join our big programs. Or if you join the program, it should be your first step or whatever that thing. So I love it as like a passive income stream, but I also love it as like an indoctrination, an easy way to like probably everyone who most people who are in your higher end membership have at least heard of or read a significant portion of that book, because like
Yeah.
why would you pay your high end program if you don't believe in the work? And how the
Mm.
best way to believe in the work is to read the book.
Mm. And so this is really interesting. This is the fan. The fan is like messing up my backdrop now, but it's fine. It's keeping me cool. Um, this has been really interesting for me for the cultural shift. Okay, so like people used to be really happy to come on into Sparkle on Substack and find their way around, navigate things. I made it quite easy for them. There's an A to Z. Like I only put that in place with Christy last summer. But before then, it was like, oh yeah, we're just building up our Substack knowledge. We're working together. Claire's there for us for questions and stuff. Now I get literally people are in freeze response and they're like, do you have a package where you can just do this for me? Like, I need you to just do it for me. I need you to tell me, like, what are my content pillars? Like, what's the invite? Like, what is the language? Like, what is the etiquette on Substack? And I'm just like, well, yeah, sure. Like, it's at the higher end, right? Like, I can definitely do that. I can't do that a lot, but I can do that. And it's been so interesting to me. And I've seen huge churn at Sparkle on Substack. I'm not attached to it. I'm just a bit like, okay, like you graduated Sparkle, well done. Like maybe you got everything you need. Maybe life happened. And, people will say, oh, I've moved away from Substack or whatever. Like, fine, cool. However, energetically, that is tricky because you're like, okay, like, how do I fix this for you all? Because the general overwhelm and the general like nervous system feeling since we launched the book last year is like so much more intensified. So it's like, I can't hold that for you. Like, you're going to have to cut your news intake. You're going to have to like be more mindful around social media. You're going to have to be very clear with what you want to publish and why. You're going to have to like sit with your goals and sit with your mindset. And it's like, all of this stuff, right? Whereas like before, it was like, oh, cool, Substack, I'll start a Substack. Let's have a lovely time on Substack. It's like, that isn't flying.
Yeah, and you know what? Like this is such an important shift because like these are like second order problems. And no one talks about second order problems, right? It's like, okay, most people like need triage. They come in and they're like, oh great, I need like my Substack's broken, my Substack's not working. I want to start my Substack, whatever that thing is. But then
Mm.
they get it going and you're like, okay, but like, and then they're like, all right, cool, I've got everything I need. And you're like, no, actually, like this is when you should be doing more. Like there are so many second order problems that like even our book doesn't fix. It
Mm.
like gives you triage for whatever like the thing is and can get you set up, but like it's not going to tell you what to do when your churn goes up, when your churn doubles in a month. It's
Yeah.
not going to like tell you what to do when like your your renewals start coming in and like suddenly you're instead of going up it's like go plateauing or going down, because even if new people are coming in you have to have people going up above replacement. And like
Yeah.
no one actually probably listening to this wants to hear that because like they are at the beginning stage. So like what do you do? Like these are all problems that people have, but they're usually very together at the beginning. When like you are first joining a thing, everyone's like, I don't know what I'm doing. But once people figure out what they're doing, they kind of themselves off and their problems get more unique. Like as
Mm-hmm.
everyone's publication starts going along, every one of them, like now you have 500 publications and all of them have been going a year. Every single one looks differently. Everyone's problem is different. Everyone's solution is different. So like you either have to pay a coach to like be there and sit with you, which you probably can't do every week, and there's only so many coaches, or like you just kind of keep guessing and like asking your friends and cherry picking. And it's a problem that exists in every industry
Mm.
because like the pain point is at the beginning when
Mm.
everyone's like, oh my God, I'm making $0. I'm failing. I lost $20,000. Like I'm trying to do this a year. Like you can fix all of those problems with very similar solutions. But as
Yeah.
time goes on, my publication and your publication, even though we've been around for roughly the same amount of time, have
Mm.
very different ways that we run, different products we offer, and different problems that will lead to different solutions. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just like maybe I'm just spitballing something that is irrelevant, but like I think a lot about second order problems because I'm in year two. I'm on my third year of doing this publication, my like 10th year of doing this business, and most of my friends and myself have like 10th order problems. So like we've fixed
Mm.
like all of the minor problems and now it's like, well, how do I go to seven figures? Well, like
Mm.
that's a
Mm.
problem that like very few people should be solving for now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, and sometimes it is that mindset shift, right? So like someone might say, "Oh, there's a lot of monthly churn," and I'll be like, "How often? Like what is the average on that monthly churn? Are people staying 2 months, 3 months, 4 months? Like what is that? Because industry standard in memberships is like people churn 3 to 4 months, like
Right.
maximum 6 months if they're paying monthly. So then you need to be comfortable with that within your business model. On the other side of it, people might be like, oh my goodness, recurring revenue. This is so cool. So it's the energy that we have to give it, right? Because it is just the game. Like it's the game. So like I'm gonna take a break for summer and I'm looking at my dashboard being like, yeah, like I could do to inject some energy into this dashboard, but I am also looking at what I've built up and going, you know what, like I am safe to take a break. Like I've got something so exciting planned for members. It really doesn't matter if new people join because they'll probably join in September. They'll definitely join in the winter. Like I know that stuff now. So it's like, I don't need to be in this bonkers dance with the dashboard. I'm just going to let it be what it is. Let everybody have their summer and not try and like really push to put things in front of people. It's like, I played my ace card recently. Actually, this was so interesting. So I've never done a massive discount on Sparkle, like not for any particular reason, just in that like that intuitively wasn't speaking to me. Like I just liked doing what I was doing. Like Substack would send out the boost, which was 20%, and I'd send out the odds like 20%. I would also like close off monthlies because for me, the monthlies can take a lot of energy because they have a lot of questions, right? So like I need to be really
Right.
cautious with like how they're guided through the content and get the best path for them. So I decided, okay, like I'm gonna do a birthday, so like 2 year birthday offer, special coupon, 50% off for a year, right? So like it will expire after a year, but my thought, given the numbers that I've looked at, is that people do like to stay for a year. Lots of them do. And some of them will stay a second year, but not all of them will anyway. So it's like, it felt like, okay, this is a safe bet to do. But this was my ace card. Like I'd never played this card. So I was like, okay, like I'm so excited about how this is going to go. And like it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. It didn't go as well as last year's 20% off birthday month. So it was 27 converted to paid versus 33 last year. Even though my
Mm.
numbers are bigger, even though I feel like I've been given the same amount of energy and like love and all of the things, I'm like, but that's okay. Like, it's okay. Like, this is part of the dance. This is part of the game. Like, I'm not going to be disappointed in that. I'm just going to be like, okay, that was a cool experiment. Whether I would do that again or not, I don't know, because obviously like bringing people into such a high touch membership with 50% off, like it's a thing, right? Like it's like a thing, like you've got to be careful with that positioning. So,
Right.
but I wanted to do it because this year is all about sharing experiments with my members. And also because I've had the privilege and opportunity to do lots of those experiments with clients as well now. So I can have more of not just my data, but their data as well. And I'm like, we can just try things, folks. Like, we can be brave and try things or not. Like, it's up to you. Like, however you want to look at the psychology of why people are going to jump in and pay, like, you get to decide.
Yeah, absolutely. And if anyone has questions, please do ask them below.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen any. I've been kind of looking down there, but it's real. Like, one of the most interesting things that happened with Writer MBA was we realized that after about a year of selling a course, suddenly most of the information was disseminated, and then the value that we had to change from
Yeah.
like this is the information to like this is the implementation, or like this is like the higher end order things, and just like fewer percentage of people converted, but more people converted because there were just more people and we were the trusted thing, and more importantly, more opportunities presented themselves. So I would love to see if this happened to you. So what happened was more companies reached out,
Mm.
more platforms reached out. We had more opportunity to work directly with Kickstarter, for instance, or
Yeah.
to do these things. More people asked us to do webinars for them. More people wanted to like sponsor our conference, or all of these things happened, and we don't really talk about that because it's like a third order problem. It's like, okay,
Hmm.
I've hit six figures. I've stabilized myself. I've become a name in the industry. And like, what is the next thing? And so, like, do you find that has been happening for you? Because it was wild to go from companies would ignore or summarily reject the things that I talked about to now I'm like running, and like these people at these companies are like friends of mine.
Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah, so I feel like it all happened at once last year, and it was almost too much to hold because everything happened at once. Everything was bananas. Everything blew up, you know. So all the like the emails, people reaching out, like everything that was happening online, like we were promoting the book, and then the membership was just like growing and growing and growing. So it was like it all blew up, and then it was like, what now? And then this year has been like a reconfiguration year so far. So like me speaking over in New Orleans, you know, for me that was like, I get to do this. Like I get to go away from the business for 6 days and like be here and be with people. And then I did a retreat down in Oxfordshire with Tanya, which was a Substack retreat, which was like the depth of connection, you know? So it's like all of that just felt like an absolute whirlwind, like almost so much so that it was like it was a bit discombobulating at times, you know, because I've had a career a long time. I didn't have a career on Substack a long time, but then I just became this person that people wanted to work with. And so I had like 30 grand of commissions, which I'd never ever had before. You know, being able to negotiate the fees that I wanted was easy instead of it feeling like, oh God, I don't know if I can ask for that daily rate or I can ask for that fee. Like all of that stuff was coming easier. I feel like for me, there was definitely that sense of getting to bestseller, which, you know, we did at the same time. I think it was like an October sort of vibe, wasn't it? Maybe it was 23. There was definitely that like showed me, that reflected back, like, okay, like people trust you in this space. And then I think we always knew there would be more noise in that space. And I've had to do a lot of work to like quiet all of the other noise out so that I don't get in my own way about it, so that I stay in this place of like depth connection, mindset work, joyful, sustainable growth. Like that is the USP. And I think for me, the up level this year is being able to explain the benefits of Substack outside of Substack. So like these spaces that like they're there, like there's endless opportunities, you know, I could run ads, all that sort of stuff. What it actually is and can do for business owners. Like that's what I'm really passionate about articulating. And I find it really difficult because it is such a multifaceted platform. And business owners are just like, just show me where the ease is, show me where the money is. And that means for the moment, it has meant I have to be plugged in at a high level. So it's sort of the same problem I had last year. You know, when you were saying to me, you run a massively high touch membership. And I was like, well, I do, but this is what I've been guided to do. And like, eventually, like, it's like, I can't seem to get away from that model. And I have to, you know, like, I am only one person. So it has to work outside of me. But I'm not quite sure yet in this dance of running a subscription model and running the other elements of my business that make it a sustainable business, how to make it all work. Like it feels like a fun problem to have. It's always like problem solving, But I think I thought that because last year was such a blow up year, that I would just have this all sussed by now. And it's like, oh no, you're just peeling like the next layer of what you want to do and the next
Right.
layer. And obviously Substack changes and this, that, and the other. So it's like, it just keeps you on your toes, doesn't it? Like it becomes a living, breathing relationship with your business outside of yourself. And that's what I've really discovered this year, like who I am outside of the business.
Oh, I can tell you, I have a thing for you then, because like I just found a company that trained in AI on all of my
Okay.
past work. And I'm watching all of the conversations, and like all of these people are getting the exact thing they need at the exact time they need it. And all of my like high touch members are like using this like AI, and they're all getting good advice when they need it without instead of having to book a thing with me. So I I'm still in early. I mean, my founding membership only has like 14 people in it currently, and we're like
Mm.
launching it right now. But I wonder if something like that might be something you would consider, because like then people can get their high touch thing whenever they need their high touch.
That's it, isn't it? And it's like my depth of experience. So I have got Sparklebot. So Sparklebot is again like it's in beta testing. It's been in with my mini mind for a month and they're using it. The issue with it is because it's a ChatGPT bot, right? So it's like it's a bespoke ChatGPT. And so for me, like when they give me what they've worked on with it, I'm a bit like, it's still a bit twee. Like it's still
Sure.
like it still hasn't got that like incredible human like energy, and it doesn't break the fourth wall. Like I'm constantly banging on about breaking the fourth wall. Like get your reader to feel what you want them to feel. Like otherwise it's just like scroll, 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 nice, 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 not really reading anything. The attention spans just aren't the same as they were. Like I'm really feeling that like when I read an incredibly well written piece and you see the comments have gone nuts and you see the shares have gone nuts, it's because the readers made them feel something. And so that's just the bit where I'm like, just be careful if you're doing copywriting with it. Like if you're saying, here's my about page, can you help me with it? It's like, because it will always just like gloss it over and like make it a bit twee. And I don't want to do like, I don't do that in
Right.
my writing. Like, yes, I have whimsy in there, but it's not twee, it's not bland. Like, so I'm like, use it to ask, like, give me the link for the hero post workshop, like just like, or I'm working on my hero post. Can you tell me what Claire would say about hero posts and why they're important? Like, that's the stuff. So I'm like you, like, it's tentative. I'm excited about it, but I'm just like, we've all had to learn really quickly with AI, haven't we? And just be like, okay, like we need to make our conscious decision about how it works for us and for our business. And hope that people can see that we're doing that in the best way possible.
Sure. I will say that I'm not using ChatGPT. I have an entire thing only trained on my stuff, and it's been
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I thought some questions passed by here. Do
Yeah. I
you?
think there was a couple. I have my laptop open. Uh, I think it's just a weird political thing. Oh no, it's Bob. Bob sometimes comes on and just sends political stuff. Listen, guys, like we're talking about Substack, how Substack has changed in the last year, what Russell and I have been up to since we published the book. Like that is what we would love questions on. Like if you have anything about Substack, your own Substack, like how you're feeling here. If you want to ask about notes and like how we're feeling about notes, if you want to ask about growth and what we're doing about growth, we can chat to you about that, like also the curatorial side, and really like keeping our readers engaged. The models that we both have, we have very different models, both very successful. So, if you want to ask those questions, that's what we're here for.
Sure. I think that we can kind of shift to like talk about like what the best strategies or what the things that we're seeing. The
Yeah.
number one thing that irritates me, and I'll start there, is people saying conflating Substack with notes. So like people say Substack growth has slowed, or like they say like this is how to grow on Substack, and like
Mm.
I actually don't think notes is a great way to grow on Substack. I just like don't
Mm-hmm.
think that. I don't like because if you are on Substack, you probably have left or are not, it's not working on other social media stuff. And how to succeed on notes is how to succeed on social media. It's like writing 3 to 10, like very short posts every day, like gaming the system, working with like all of the things that people hate about social media is like what works on Notes. And and how to fix Notes is the same way you fix other social media, which is like if your feed sucks, find people that you like and go to their page, and then like will start showing you that kind of stuff. Like you are interacting with the high growth stuff, and so it's showing you high growth stuff. But like all of these problems are not actually Substack problems. They are like social media problems. And I'm
Yeah.
just so sick of seeing people say, like, oh, someone was like, can newsletter growth, can recommendations help you on Substack? I'm not sure. And I'm like, that is like the only thing that we had. Like, of course it can work because like Substack is not a social media platform. Notes is a social media part of Substack, but Substack is a bigger ecosystem. And if we lose that bit, suddenly like we are taking away all of the things that are interesting about Substack are not Notes because Notes is the same level. Like gaming Substack is the same thing as gaming TikTok. It's the same thing as gaming Facebook. So like, yes, if you're really good at gaming systems, then you'll be able to game Substack as well. But like,
Mm,
none of that is interesting. The interesting parts are the parts outside of stuff that of Notes that can make you grow. Um,
mm,
I
yeah.
think that you said this. Like, I have 70,000 or so subscribe followers, and I get nobody ever sees my like. It is easily the worst platform at showing stuff to followers. It is
It's so
worse than
bad.
TikTok.
It's so bad. And bearing in mind when Notes first started, and I know people hate it when I hark back, but I am going to hark back because honestly, it was just the most beautiful time of having conversations with colleagues. I met Russell, like we had conversations. It was just really easy for conversation to happen. And now I'm like, I don't know what you're all doing on here, but I'm so bored. Like we did this, we've been doing this for years. Like, why can't it be something else? So like, I am always challenging people to like ignore what gets the heavy likes and like, mute the growth content and whatever if that's annoying you and just have some conversations. Like go and scroll the art category, go and scroll the business category, have some conversations with people, like turn off the part of the brain that wants the dopamine hit and thinks that they're not good enough. Like just have a chat. Like maybe we've broken it. I don't know, Russell. Like I just feel like I will show up there for sure. Like I'll show up, most days I'll do a thing, like I'll make it a bit personal or I'll make it a little bit about sparkle, whatever. Like, but I am going through the motions. Like I'm just like, I don't care. Like I'm going to do this because why not? If people are on here, we can have a conversation. Like maybe someone on new will see me. But I told them in the bestsellers chat, I was like, it is wholly ridiculous to me that I have tens of thousands of followers and I can't get any traction on Notes. And I don't mean that in a, there is traction when you look in the stats, you can see profile visits, but it should be way more. Like it should be way more. There should be way more connection than that. And obviously, like I'm all
Yeah,
about connection. So I'm just like, I'm just going to do my newsletter. And then, so this week I wrote a piece and I had said on Notes, like, I feel like I want to write this really sassy piece about how I feel about people leaving Substack and like this whole thing. And so I wrote the piece, and the piece was really well engaged with. It was restacked like a ton of times, like over 10 times, maybe it was 15 times. Like I didn't, again, like I'm not really looking. But it drove one new subscriber, and I was just like, okay, like, okay, this is what we're doing now. Like, I want to do that work, and I have to not care. Like, that one subscriber could book my 5K package. Like, it's just like, okay, then, like, this is where we're
right.
at because for some reason it's not working in the way that I felt like the swell was going to keep working. And maybe that's on me, but like it just felt obvious that the growth trajectory would keep going because Substack make money when we make money. So surely they would want us to get subscribers so that we can convert them to paid subscribers. And now it's like, oh no, like you might post a note and like nobody sees it. And it's like, well then what did I do that like 3 years worth of work for then? Like, yeah, I'd
Right.
rather
Yeah.
I'd
Like,
rather put B-roll on Instagram because people love my B-roll. I'll film the beach or I'll film like being out at a coffee shop and it connects more. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that then.
right. Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. I think that I have something like, I think I looked the other day and I had like 62,000 followers. And I'm like,
Yeah,
why does no
wild.
one
It's
ever see?
wild.
So it's like,
Yeah,
why does no one ever see the things? If I have all of the,
yeah.
like, I look at people who, like, I could just post hi on other platforms where I have way less engagement and get like 10.
Mm,
Anyway, so like, I don't like notes at all. I
mm,
0% like notes, but I do like the rest of Substack. So
mm,
let's talk. Someone asked, like, well, let's say notes is not a thing. And like, then how are you getting interacting? So, like,
yes.
yeah, let's harken back to even before Substack. Like back in the, I've been blogging since 2008, and
Mm,
still, most of those ways I think are the best. So, before I do that, I want to talk about the four media channels that you
mhm,
have. Is that all right for a second? I'm going to
mhm,
do a little. Okay, so there are four media channels. You have to master one of these four. And inside, you have to master one strategy within it to really break through. So there's four media channels. One is owned. So owned would be where you own the chain of custody of at least the data for the customer. So that is your website, that is your Substack, that is your domain. That is not your social media that you host on Facebook. That is
mhm,
like that is a Facebook thing. Two is borrowed. So borrowed is kind of what Claire and I are doing right now. Like we are borrowing each other's audiences to like do this thing, to like come
mhm,
together in like this free collaboration. We've done guest posts for each other's stuff, and I do it all of the time. Um, and I know Claire does it as well. It's doing virtual conferences. So like you are borrowing someone else's attention, so because you're highly aligned. The third is paid. This is advertising. And the fourth is earned. Earned is PR. So like Lucy Warner or Kathleen Schmidt or like someone who does like th- you are you have earned status and you are using it to get coverage. So like if Kathleen pitches an article to somebody over here, I don't have to write that article. Like that's they
mhm,
are writing the PR for me. And so owned, borrowed, paid, and earned. So earned costs generally a lot of money and takes a lot of time to do. So like probably now I could get earned media easier. Claire could get earned media about Substack because some amount of Substack people care. Emma Ganning got earned media like she talked about the other day on The Guardian. Um, or that's earned. Hey, so like probably if you're new, you don't care about earned because like if you send a press release out, no one will care. The only reason you send press releases out is if press will then carry it. And if don't have something newsy, like if you're working with Arnold Schwarzenegger, great. Then like you like to earned media then. Paid, well, Substack like doesn't have any paid opportunities. So like let's just cut those two out. Owned is your publication, borrowed is other people's publication. This goes back to the 90s. This was still the best way to introduce yourself and do it gently, which is
mhm,
to, if you're going to scroll notes to find people who are doing interesting stuff, and then do something like a roundup of the best articles in your space that you see, the
mhm,
five coolest posts that you read that week, like email the people, comment on people's things, pitch them that you have this really cool idea to do it, befriend people and collaborate with them, and
mhm,
then do a couple of things. You can do like an article swap. But one of the really interesting things that you can do, even if you don't want to do that, open yourself up to that, is you can ask. So like you can ask somebody else if you want to write an article about a specific topic and like comment, like as commentary on a topic, you both write your own article and then you at the top link to like be like, I'm writing this article with Claire about like the worst Substack strategies that we saw. I'm listing mine, and Claire on her blog is listing hers, and like here's a link to get those. And
yeah,
like to me, those are still those are the things that worked before Notes. Those are the things that worked before Substack. And those are
Mm-hmm.
things that have worked since media time since the 40s, like doing this kind of stuff is actually making a connection with somebody, not maybe me or Claire, but like someone who's on the rising fiction list, maybe
Mm,
someone that's reading the same blog as you and commenting probably is a good person that you can collaborate with. But like, I, Notes is not a great place to meet other non-readers. It's a great place to meet writers who you can then collaborate with. And that's my feeling about it. I don't know how you feel about
yeah, I think so. And I'd totally forgotten about that one, Russell. We used to call it blog hops. So, you would agree that you would write, like you just articulated it really well. So I don't need to say it again, but it's like, okay, and then Claire's written over here. And I totally forgot I used to do those. And I'm like, I love doing those. That was so cool because it was like, oh, I don't have to find something else to read. You're literally doing it for me and being like, go over here because this person's written on the same topic. Yeah, I love doing that. It was really nice. I actually said to my members, because I'm fascinated with experiments, it's like my year of experiments. So I was like, if anyone has experimented in any sort of way, like with coupons or free trials, or it doesn't have to be about monetization, like if you've done any sort of experiments and you want to write for me, that would be so gorgeous. Like feel free, and like I'll put it out to my whole audience. And there was a couple of people that wanted to do it. And I think what comes up a lot in my mentoring is like people just aren't really sure what the etiquette is around collaborations. And I forgot that because I'm always far too many steps ahead now. And so me going back and writing the post from the earliest version of myself that like waded onto Substack and was like, oh, this is quite cool. Like, what might I do here? Like, that's the perspective always, because you can always give them the depth. You could give them the depth behind the paywall. You could give them the depth in a second post, a third post, whatever. It's like right back to the beginning. So I was explaining to someone the other day because she was like, what's in it for the writer? Like, why? Like, would they care? And I'm like, well, they don't have to write that week is one reason they could care. Another reason is because there's a nice fit, like there's an alignment there and they're interested in your voice. And they were saying, oh, but what if I've only got a few hundred subscribers? And I'm like, I don't care about that stuff. Like, I care about depth of connection. It's literally like, that is my main value. I'm like, okay, like, are my people going to connect? Is this going to be something like, I'm not like, oh, am I going to get something out of that? Because all of that stuff happens anyway. Like the book I'm writing this year is about reciprocity. I truly believe I don't have to seek out that stuff in a numerical way. Like it will just happen, although the last month could have proven me wrong. But anyway, well, the last month aside, mostly the swell of growth has come from, hey, like, let's do a thing together. Let's do a live. Let's do a swap. Let's chat. Let's have a Zoom coffee. I've met up with loads of writers, London based mainly, but that stuff, like there's so much in that. And then the collaborations can go deeper. And then we get to the more interesting stuff that we haven't unearthed in the first sort of one or two collaborations. So I just spoke to Natalie today earlier on, and we've met in person years ago. We've stayed in touch for years. We've already podcasted together. We were there to talk about a book, but of course we talked about some super deep stuff. Like that wasn't planned. That's just because when you get comfortable with people, that's the stuff that comes out, and probably the stuff people are actually really interested in.
Yeah, and I'll give you a couple other reasons why. Like, if you listen to Claire and I talk, like, we are at similar levels in our life currently, like, as far
Mm,
as like success has gone, but we talk about that in very, very different ways. Like, I was like, here's the four things, here's the data drawn way, here's this thing. And you are more like, so you might want someone to come onto your post to talk because they just talk in a different way and for me, I look for people who have alignment in how I think, but not in how I talk or how, because like I
mm,
know you can be like, okay, write that. And I talk to people who like write the exact thing you said in your way, because like
mm,
I need people to hear this, not come from me.
yeah.
Two is if you're not at the same level as somebody, most people are not at Claire and my level. Like there are plenty of people above us and like, but like there's a lot of people who like have 200 subscribers or 100 subscribers. And I don't have the language to talk about what's working. Like if you just got 100 subscribers today by doing some strategy, guess what? Like I don't know what that strategy will work because like I'm just doing a whole different, I have like 500 or 600 people recommending me. So like it's just a lot. different. Like if you're like, this is how I got my first recommendation for recommendation, like I don't I don't remember those days. Then the third is
Mm,
like I am a white het cis male middle class in America. And so like there's a lot of people who are not having that lived experience, that are not married, that are not like, and so just having someone who is a different lived experience give
yeah.
their perspective on a thing fills out a publication and makes it so that it's not so omnidimensional where it's all like, oh, this is what like Russell thinks. I want to make my publication the author stack, the best strategies that people can use. And whether that's having
Mm,
trans people right, whether that's having divorced people right, whether that's having a person with 5 kids right, whether that's like a man, a woman, but whatever that is, I want everyone to feel like they can have success. Because frankly, like my kind of human has had success for
mm,
500 years. Like,
mm,
and so
mhm.
like to say what it's very easy to then say, oh, well, like, of course, Russell had success. Like, he's a white guy. And so to be able to say, like, well, yes, like, let's talk about how Claire has success or how Ray has success or how other people have had success. So any of those reasons, and probably many, many more, could be a reason why someone would want your voice.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. And I hope that is useful for people to think on and also to kind of bring it back to the publication, which I know Russell is really passionate about. And I am, it's like when I do, so I've got a course called Your Beautiful Digital Magazine on Substack, very specific. So it's about being the curator of a digital magazine because Substack affords us that, right? Like it looks like a magazine. You can even have a magazine style layout. You can faff on with the branding. You can make your sections super clear. You can give people insight into where you're going to take them. You can, do all the backlinks that you want. People could spend a whole Sunday on your Substack after you've been writing here a little while. And I just love that concept. So when we're doing that work together, it is that kind of like, okay, like, what do you want for this? Like, what is the vision? Because it's an interesting quote, and it was actually to do with money and not subscription models. But I do think it's true. Subscription models, I do feel like so the quote is that most people approach money like they're driving in fog or driving toward fog in business, right? And I was like, oh, that is an interesting quote. But I also think it's the same. It's true of subscription models because you don't know what you don't know. So you go in and you're like, yay, my first paid subscriber. And like, it feels so good and it's so brilliant. And like, then there might be another one. But then the first one to leave is like, oh, like everything's wrong in the world. Like, this is awful. Like, I did something wrong. Or, you've got to go through all that rejection sensitivity stuff. And then as you move through all of that stuff and work out, okay, like, I've had this model for 3 months now, or I've had this model for 6 months now. And you work out that growth trajectory, you work out your percentage between free and paid, and you're like, okay, so we're doing this. But then people completely start cannibalizing that business ecosystems because they're like, I just want all this in Substack. It's like, but why do you want it in Substack? Like, why does it have to be in Substack? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, if Substack is the low ticket item in your shop, then what's the journey that people go on? Because if you give them absolutely everything behind a paywall, um and they just feel like, well, I'm so overwhelmed, like I've got everything here, like I just don't know anymore, it's like, well, then they might stay longer for sure, but you're missing the opportunity to be like, oh hey, and I also do this mastermind, or hey, like I've got this conference in New Orleans, or like whatever it is. So it's almost knowing what is through the other side of the fog, like painting the vision of, if I'm going to publish weekly on Substack, if I'm going to write to members twice a month or paid subscribers twice a month, like however that looks, like what's that going to build over time? Like, what is the archive going to look like? Is there going to be a mini course in there? Are there going to be books, which Russell generously has behind his paywall? Like, what's that going to look like? And then also, how do you take care of yourself in all of that? Because we're not content machines. Like, we're not.
Yeah, I mean, so how my publication works is there's a founding member tier, which I just reintroduced at Capitalist. And then there's like the lower ticket paid membership tier, which
Mm,
I generally offer for $20 a year. And that is what I do at that bottom level is the reason why there's so much stuff is these are all the things that you need to know to become a higher ticket client. Like
yeah.
I want to give you the ability to have that knowledge And so when people ask, like, why do you have so much at that bottom tier? I'm like, well, that is like tier one. There's just
Mm,
so much to know but like what I want you to do is get to tier two. So you're coming to the conference or retreat and all of that stuff. And my feeling is if you have to go buy 15 books, like you probably aren't going to spend $150, but you might spend $20. Then whenever I
mm,
talk about something, you can go back and read that thing. I do
mm,
want to, because we're getting to the hour, right? So I
mhm,
want to make sure that we're good on time. I had just had this happen. So if you want to get a bigger network now, I had someone message me and say, "Hey, I read your article. Can I cross post it to my audience?"
mm,
And I was like, well, obviously, like, yeah, go for it. And then we had a little
mhm.
conversation afterwards. And it's like, well, I'll tell you, if she messages me again and says, like, hey, I read the article went really well. Like, I think I have this alignment with your thing. Like, I'd love to write an article about X. I'm probably just going to let her do it because, like,
Yeah.
why would I not let her do it? Like, she's already taken the initiative. So, one of the things that I think that like a lot of people don't think about is most people are low agency. What I mean
Mm,
by that is like they don't think that they have the power to do the thing. And the longer that I do this, I feel like the thing that I can give people personally is the ability to say, you can just email someone today.
mm,
And you can
mhm,
email 10 people and say, I love these are the 10 best articles I read. I'm going to make a roundup about them. And I'm also going to like cross post that to my thing. And like
mm,
maybe if I reach out to each person, they'll share it or like they will be a relationship. But like you can just list your favorite articles. And probably if they're your favorite articles, other people that are in your audience or that audience, and then people will share it and share it and share it. And like I did this for like the first year that I was on Substack. Every
Yeah,
year I did like
it was
a
massive. Mm,
Yes, absolutely. And it brought so many new people into the publication and so many new collaborators. And so, like, at the conference, I said, everyone comes to our conference with two things locks. These are the locks. We all have locks. You all came to this talk with locks that, like, you can't get through. But what we don't realize is that we all have 100 locks that we did get through. And we have keys just sitting around for all of these locks that we have since discarded because we did not need them. And so,
mm,
like, we can take, if we know what keys we have, we can take that and help other people open their own locks.
mm,
And we don't have to be far ahead to do that. We just need the agency to say, oh, that's interesting. I'll bet I can share that. Oh, this is interesting. I'm going to share it with my people. And then maybe good things can happen.
mhm, mhm. It's beautiful, and you're so right to remind us about roundups because I used to do them, and I basically like burnt out doing them, and so stopped. Mine were called Stay Creative on Substack, and I was really looking for people that were using the platform in creative ways, and I was really enjoying reading in that way. And then I think, we do go through phases where we don't want to read as much or like we just need to be offline more. So it's, been a beautiful summer, like over a month of incredible weather here. And like I do want to just be sitting outside and not like with my phone. So there are these beautiful invitations all the time. And it's almost like, if you just take two pieces of paper and you have notes in the middle of one, and then you have your publication in the middle of the other, and you want to be filling the publication piece of paper with loads of creative ideas about who you want to work with, what you want to do, what conversations you want to have, because you don't want notes to be zapping all of your energy because Substack will shift and change the algorithm again. Like they're changing it all the time. So focus on your publication, focus on what you want that to do, and go and read Russell's stuff. Like there's so much there in terms of different ways of approaching growth. Like the growth that I've seen you have over the time that we've known each other has been monumental. And also the brave decisions that you make about clearing people out is also huge. And my nervous system isn't there yet. I'm like, mine is all primarily organic growth on Substack. There's a bit through YouTube, there's a bit through Pinterest, there's a bit through Instagram, but mainly it's been the swell of reciprocity on Substack and me doing the best work that I can for my people. So Yeah, and it's always beautiful to hear from you guys. Like, if you have read the book and you want to tag us on notes or on socials, like I had a story tag the last couple of weeks actually, Russell. So it must be the time for people picking it up again. I know people think a lot of it, and I know that people dip in and out of it as well, just to kind of hear that reassuring voice of what they're doing. So we're really proud of it, and we're glad that it exists and that it's still very current. And you can get it wherever you get your books, anywhere in the world, ebook or physical paperback, which a lot of people have opted for, actually. They like the highlighting idea.
Yeah, I love it. And I'll also say, like, I love your publication. I read at least two of them every week. And I'm a
Oh,
paid
thank
member to one of
you.
them. So like it's
Hmm.
amazing, like not just how you think about Substack, but creativity as a whole. And I think like what you brought to the book was brought it so like I had 50,000 words before like I
Hmm.
even talked to Claire, but I wanted a different perspective. And like the perspective you brought was like so wonderful and refreshing. And so like hopefully you want to kind of see how like two people who have succeeded on Substack can work together. And just know that like people want you to be to think that the thing that they are selling is the important thing. So like lots of success comes like lots of people want to prove that notes is the thing, but like
Mm-hmm.
there have Substack has been around since 2017,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like notes has been around since 2023. So
Yeah.
it's like not it's barely 2 years old. And
Mm-hmm.
like there's so many people like that you all of the people who are super successful on Substack right now, all of them probably started before, or most of them, at least at the very top, started before like notes. And so it is possible to succeed on notes. If you love notes, amazing. But there are all sorts of other ways and other things that like Substack has can do for you and so many ways to have success. And all you need is that one media channel and that one strategy within it to like have the success, and don't let anyone tell you different.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. What a lovely note to finish on. Well, thank you, Russell. It's been gorgeous to reconnect. We're celebrating the book all month. I've got a little bit of content planned over at Sparkle on Substack. So if you're not currently a subscriber, head over there. I've also got a podcast. I do lives quite a lot as well. So if you want to rewatch anything you missed in this one, it will be saved under live chats and they're open to everybody. So feel free to head on over. Have a beautiful day, Russell. I'll see you again really soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye.